Hello and welcome to coachingbasketball.co.uk. My name is John Officer. This is episode 6 of our look at the Flex Offence. Now today we're going to deal with the corner option when the ball is on the same side as the post player. So I've got 3 pretty tasty options here for you. The first one is a UCLA action. I like this one the best, and I'll show you why in just a few seconds. Now, what we have just going through the play is number 1 passing to number 3. Number 5 comes up from the post, sets a UCLA pick, so you've got that backdoor cut for number 1. He can either go behind the screen or in front of the screen. If I'm picking one of the two, I would go in front of the screen. It gives number 3 more time to make that good quality pass. If number 1 doesn't get the ball, he goes through to the corner on the far side. While this is happening, number 2 is taking a V cut and sprinting to the spot to replace number 1. He's got to do that because that's a safety outlet pass right there. So make sure you teach your players to do a V cut action to get away from the defender so they can get an unmolested pass right there. Number 4 is rotating, so he's freeing up that spot for number 1, so he's taking the top spot there. And as soon as number 5, this is another teaching point, as soon as number 5 goes up from the post to the free throw line, number 3 should be looking for his own drive to the basket right at that point. He's got a one-on-one isolation there. The defender following number 5 has probably left that 3-second area, and that's your great opportunity. If you've got a good point guard who can get to the basket, that's a great chance right there for you. So the last teaching point then is number 5 setting the screen for number 1. He has the opportunity either to step off of the screen towards the ball to receive that pass for a shot or a drive, or he can come off of the screen and simply sprint underneath the basket and seal his man into the basket for the post play. 9 times out of 10 I'll teach that step back towards the ball for the pass, simply because it's buying number 1 a little bit more time cutting through. But if you have some good quality post players, what you can use is number 1, that simply is a decoy action for your real option, which is number 5 getting a repost underneath the basket. But once that's all done, you're back into your flex offense again straight off of that. Now I like this option for a second reason, and that's simply because if there's an overplay by the defense closing out your passing lanes, so you can't pass top to top and you can't pass to the corner, you can call your post player up, pass to the post player if he sprints up to the free throw line, and you have that UCLA cut for a handoff to the basket so he can get a layup. If he doesn't get that, everybody's just rotating one spot and you're back into your flex offense. So if the defense is denying that pass, that's a great way of getting out of it. So straight then into our second option here, which is our pick and roll action. I quite like this, nice and simple, very easy to run, and a great one to teach. So what we've got here is a pass from 1 to 3 again in the corner. What's happening now is number 3 is doing a dribble drag. He's taking the ball 2 or 3 dribbles, up towards the top of the floor. And the reason that is to get out of any potential double teams or traps taking place in the corner. While that's happening, then number 5 then is going to set a pick for number 3, so number 3 can get straight to the basket. Good teaching point that we discussed earlier on was if you're going to set a screen, make sure that your screener puts his back to one of the corners. So if you want number 3 to go up over the top of the screen into the middle of the floor, which would be my teaching preference, you get number 5 to put his back to the top right hand corner of the court, gives a good wide screen angle. If you want him to go baseline for a drive to the baseline, then you've got to get number 5 to put his back to the bottom left-hand corner, again giving a nice wide angle for a screen taking place there. Teaching point for number 4, make sure number 4 always stays at the level of the ball. So it means then if number 3 goes into the corner, number 4 is staying in the corner, so he's got that baseline to baseline safety outlet pass for a good quality shot. If he goes over the top and into the middle of the floor, then number 4 is in the eye line of number 3, so number 3 sees an easy pass swing across the floor and the court, so he's always there for an opportunity to receive a pass for a 3-point shot. Teaching point for number 1, as soon as he delivers the ball, he's going to set a down screen. He's getting down to the free throw line. Number 2's walking his man down to the free throw line as well, and then explodes up over the top of the screen, replacing number 1, and number 1 then replaces number 2. That's your safety outlet pass. You probably will get a couple of 3-point shots off of that. You could run a nice little drill off, a shooting drill off of that, but I would be more teaching that drive to the center of the 3-point line, then, or of that 3-second area, sorry. Then you've got that dish off to number 5 or to number 4. Number 5, your teaching point is sprint off of the screen to wherever there's space, and then you've got that pick and pop for number 3 to number 5. A great play that Cleveland usually runs, something very similar to it, and you see a lot of that action for Zydrunas Ilgauskas. So he gets open and you've got that little baseline shot for him time and again. So a really, really nice little play there. Your final option, this is my second favorite behind the UCLA, which is your double up option. It's a great lob pass one. What you have there is a pass from 1 to 3 in the corner. As soon as 1 has delivered the ball, both number 1 and number 5 go to the free throw line, set that screen for 2. Number 2 is then attacking the basket, going over or under the screen, and if he doesn't get the ball, then he's cutting out to the corner on the left hand side, on the ball side. So while all of that's happening, number 3 is slowly dribbling the ball out of the corner up to number 1's old position. He's dribbling slowly simply because he wants to see all of the passing opportunities that's taking place. He is not staying stationary, so there can't be a double team action taking place on him. So as soon as number 2 is coming off of the screen, right there what you want is number 1 to dive straight to the basket, seal his defender underneath the basket, and that is a perfect opportunity for an isolated post play right there. So you want that number 3 hitting number 1 underneath the basket. While that's happening, number 5 is diving to the far side corner, and you've got another lob pass or skip pass right there for a shot in the corner. So here you have a fantastic array of options taking place right there. Sprint off of the screen is a big selling point for this one. If they sprint off of the screens, then they're going to get plenty of scoring options. They've got a turn, and then if they're catching the ball, a lot of the times you're going to have the momentum going away from the basket here. So number 5, if he's cutting to the corner, is going away from the basket, and the same there as number 2. Make sure you teach to your players, step into your shot. Don't get those fadeaway shots because they're going to be harder to hit. So those are all of your options there for your corner pass. I would pick one out of those 3. I've already made clear which one I would pick, but only choose one at the moment if you're teaching the flex for the first time, and then after that start building up into it. Episode 7 is coming out immediately after this, and this is going to deal with a possible liability of the corner option, and I want you to really pay attention to that one because it is quite important.